Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privilege of the floor will please retire to the gallery. The senators and all in attendance will stand and be led in prayer by Rabbi Bailey Romano for the Beth El Hebrew congregation in Alexandria, Virginia. Everyone will please remain standing and be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by Senate Page Sam Widener.
Source of life and blessing, provide those assembled here this day with a renewed sense of purpose to work together to serve the needs of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia. May they come together with understanding and compassion for the humanity that we all share. May they always strive for the betterment of this Commonwealth and for all those who call it home. O God, give them your guidance and light as they make difficult decisions and navigate compromises. Bless all those assembled here today with your everlasting love and mercy, so that they might always do your will, to which we say, Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk will call the roll. All those in attendance will please record their vote aye. Clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Mr. President. Senate Journal for Wednesday, February 12, 2020.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Senator from Northern Chesapeake, Senator Spruill moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 4.
Ayes 36, noes 4. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communication from the House of Delegates.
We do not have any, sir.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The clerk will report any communication from the governor.
We do not have any, sir.
Thank you again, Madam Clerk. Now comes the time in the morning hour where we have the privilege and the honor of recognizing our distinguished guests with us here in the Senate gallery. I will give my daily reminder that the way this will proceed is that a senator will stand up, recognize an individual or group, and I will then offer the warm welcome of the Senate. And at the very end, we will all applaud together. I would like to begin by calling the senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, members of the Senate visiting with us in the gallery today are members of the Virginia Maritime Association for Port Day. Please join me in welcoming our friends from the Maritime Association who are here to celebrate Port Day and the 100th anniversary of their founding. We'll be taking up a resolution here shortly recognizing their centennial. The Maritime Association was organized in 1920 to promote, protect, and encourage international and domestic commerce through the ports of Virginia. It has a membership of over 400 companies employing 70,000 Virginians. The VMA continues to be the voice of the port for progressive development of our waterfront and Virginia's maritime industry. The VMA seeks and advocates the continued growth of port-related commercial activity and plays a significant leadership role to ensure that Virginia remains competitive as it relates to waterborne commerce. The Maritime Association is the primary advocate for the interests of the maritime industry and Virginia's ports. Joining us in the gallery are Mike Coleman, Roger Geisinger, Art Moy, Raymond Newland, Peter Cook, John Milliken, Whitting Chrisman, Ashley Reese, Mark Coberly, and David Bratton. Please join me in giving them and over 60 of their colleagues visiting the Capitol today the warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the Senator. Would our friends from the Virginia Maritime Association in the gallery please rise if you are able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today in the Senate and in your Capitol. We are grateful for your leadership in such an important industry to the Commonwealth of Virginia and to the entire country, and we're proud of all that you do to help our economy, to create jobs and create opportunity for so many people. So you're welcome back here, of course, anytime. See our friend John Milliken, thank you in particular for your leadership over the course of many years. Echo the eloquent and generous words of Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis, and I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leaders from the Virginia Maritime Association. the senior senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw. The senator want to...
I move that we suspend the rules and grant the privileges of the floor to a very special former member, Senator Walter Stosh.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall the rules be suspended and the privileges of the floor be granted to a distinguished person, Senator Walter Stosh? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The rules are suspended. The privileges of the floor are granted. The chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw. Senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is my deep honor to welcome the former senator from Henrico in the 12th District, Senator Walter Stosh, my friend, my mentor. He gave me very important advice when I consider running for office, Mr. President. He said very succinctly, don't. And I didn't listen. And, you know, as I age, I learn about the wisdom around me, Mr. President. And Senator Stosh is an incredibly wise, wonderful man who did great things for our Virginia. And I will say, to this day, I'm not sure anybody knows the budget quite as well as Senator Stosh. No offense.
Thank the senator very much. Senator Stosh, it's always wonderful to see you. Thank you for your tremendous leadership here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I would ask everyone, please, to join me to send the warmest welcome of the Senate to Senator Walter Stosh. Senator from Northern Chesapeake, Senator Spruill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rise for the induction.
Thanks, Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, today we have in the gallery a group of young people from my alma mater, Norfolk State University. We are honored to have among them Dr. Javon Adam Gaston, President of Norfolk State University. Dr. Adam Gaston is a professional in higher education for over 30 years of experience in higher ed. Dr. Gaston, Dr. J, as she is effectively named by her students, maintain a strong commitment to building meaningful, productive relationship and foundation in the community among the students and the community. Mr. President, will you please recognize my president and the guests from Norfolk State University?
I thank the senator. Would Dr. Adams Gaston, our distinguished guest from Norfolk State University in the gallery, please rise if you are able? Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for your tremendous leadership of a great university, truly one of the great universities in the country. And we appreciate all that you do to educate the next generation, which includes, I see our dear friend, Commonwealth Attorney from Portsmouth, Stephanie Morales, a proud graduate of Norfolk State University. And we appreciate you. Have the honor of giving your commencement address in 2018, and it's an honor of a lifetime to have done that. So I would ask everyone to please behold and join me in welcoming our distinguished guest from Norfolk State University. Senator from Russell, Senator Chafin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today in the gallery, we have a group of visitors from Southwest Virginia. I'm delighted to have people here from Southwest Virginia, Mr. President.
Yes.
We have people who come here all the time, and they come by my office, but they don't always get here to be recognized in the gallery. But today, we have a group from Mountain Empire Community College, which is located over in Big Stone Gap, Virginia, which is in my Senate district, and I hope that you would give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the senator. Would our friends and leaders from Mountain Empire Community College please rise in the gallery if you are able? Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for your tremendous leadership in Big Stone Gap and throughout Southwest Virginia. You provide hope and opportunity to so many people, and we're deeply grateful for all that you do. I know that your senator, Senator Chafin in particular, is very happy to see you here today, and I echo the generous and eloquent words that he shared. And I would ask everyone to please join me to extend the warmest welcome of the Senate to our friends and leaders from Mountain Empire Community College. The senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for an introduction.
Senator, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joining us in the gallery today, we have representatives from the National Association of Social Workers, which was founded in 1955 and is the largest membership organization of professional social workers in the world, with more than 120,000 members. NASW works to enhance the professional growth and development of its members. And they have been working very hard to advance a study gathering critical data we need for the social workforce that passed this Senate. And I would also note social workers make excellent legislative aides. I ask that you give them a warm welcome.
I thank the Senator. Would our friends and leaders from the National Association of Social Workers please rise in the gallery if you are able. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are grateful for your work and for your leadership. We appreciate all you do to make this Commonwealth a better place, to support our families, our children, to give people a brighter future. It really is a fundamentally important profession in the Commonwealth, and thank you for your dedication and your commitment. So we echo the generous and eloquent words of the senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan, and I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leaders from the National Association of Social Workers. Senator from Western Fairfax, Senator Marsden.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for an introduction.
Thanks, Senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joining us in the gallery today with my friend Julie Stranley, who put this together, are a group of middle school civics and high school government teachers from Fairfax County Public Schools. My district extends from one end of the county to the other, and many of these teachers are my constituents. As chair of the Civic Education Committee, I'm pleased that approximately 50 teachers have traveled to Richmond to experience state government in action. About 15 of them have joined us in the Senate gallery today. You know, the Civic Education Commission puts on a yearly conference for civic education and government teachers. This year we did it in Jamestown, had over 100 attendees. It was a fabulous day, and a tradition we've put in place with our old friend, Delegate Jim Dillard, who has been on this commission since its inception. Throughout the day, the group will observe Senate and House committee meetings and tour the Capitol and the Library of Virginia and the Supreme Court. They've just met with the governor and the Secretary of Education. So this immersive day will provide a deeper understanding of the day-to-day business of government as they encounter each branch of government and interact with some of Virginia's most important primary sources. And when they're finished, hopefully they can explain it all to me. As teachers return to the classroom, their experiences will result in increased civic participation from Virginia's future electorate, our current middle and high school students. These teachers also represent and their constituents of Senators Peterson, Saslaw, Barker, Howell, Surivel, Favola, but they say they like me best, Mr. President. Please give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the Senator. Would our leaders, our teachers from Fairfax County Public Middle and High Schools please rise in the gallery if you are able. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for your tremendous leadership in our county schools in Fairfax County and throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. You do such a wonderful job educating our young kids and giving them hope and a future, particularly in this day and age. Really need to understand their government so much more. So thank you for coming to your capital in this first year of the next 400 years. And thank you for leading us to a much brighter future. I would ask everybody to please join me in sending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leaders from Fairfax County. Senator from Alexandria, Senator Eben.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for an introduction.
Senator, you have the floor.
I rise to introduce Rabbi Bailey Romano, who led us off with the introduction this morning. Rabbi Romano is affiliated with Bethel Hebrew Congregation in Alexandria, which was founded in 1859. However, she joined the synagogue much more recently in the last year or so, and she is a dedicated and appreciated educator whose personal experience has become an asset to bringing families together in our community. She's a native of Slidell, Louisiana, and Rabbi Romano studied at Rhodes College in Memphis, majoring in religious studies, has 2 master's degrees, one in American Jewish history from Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion in Cincinnati, another in Jewish education and administration from Xavier, officially becoming a rabbi in 2014. And with that, Mr. President, I'd ask that you extend the warm welcome of the Senate to Rabbi Bailey Romano.
I thank the Senator. Would Rabbi Bailey Romano please rise in the gallery? Rabbi, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for that really beautiful prayer. We appreciate your moral leadership in Alexandria and throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. And heard you're from Slidell, Louisiana. So famous Duke basketball player Chris Duhon was also from Slidell. So it's the only other time I've heard of that, but it's a great town. And we echo the eloquent and generous words, Senator from Alexandria, Senator Eben. And I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leader, Rabbi Bailey Romano. Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel.
Good morning, Mr. President. I rise for purposes of an introduction.
Good morning, Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I am pleased to introduce to you in the gallery this morning a huge group. I think the whole group is not in the gallery, but they're here today visiting with members and learning about what we do here in the Capitol. They are the 9th class of Valley Proteins Fellows. And this is a very prestigious scholarship program for high-achieving second-year students at community colleges from across the Commonwealth of Virginia. They participate in a very unique curriculum designed to hone their leadership skills and expand their community involvement. So it is with deep gratitude to Valley Protein for being a great corporate citizen and making this investment in young people around the Commonwealth of Virginia that I will just take 1 minute to mention each one. We have Shaw Matthews from the Eastern Shore, Elizabeth Edmonds from Germanna, Janine McNeish from Reynolds, Emma Stasic from Lord Fairfax, Tony Seho, Axa Lemus, Jenilyn Hatch, and Ryan Miller, all from Northern Virginia. And from Piedmont, we have Sophia Keniston and Jake Laxton. From Southwest Virginia, we have Alexis Bales and Cade Sykes from Tidewater. We have Jennifer Burdett. We have Brittany Ray from Northern Virginia. And we also have Stacy Vicente. And they're here with Kate Loomis, who is helping manage it all. And I apologize for the long introduction. But I am super excited to have them here. They are a really bright, young group of men and women. Thank you.
I thank the Senator. Would our distinguished guests, the Valley Protein Fellows, please rise in the gallery if you are able? First, congratulations to each one of you. It's such a prestigious fellowship and well-deserved, and we appreciate your scholarship, your leadership, and all you're doing to show why the Commonwealth of Virginia is the best place in the country, and it produces wonderful young people like each one of you. So we echo the eloquent and generous words of Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel, and I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leaders, the Valley Protein Fellows. Senator from Williamsburg, Senator Mason.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Thanks, Senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, on behalf of my seatmate, the senior senator from Richmond, and the senator from Lynchburg, the co-chairs of the newly formed YMCA caucus, I hope that you'll extend a warm welcome to our YMCA CEOs and board members. I spent a little time with them this morning, Mr. President. They asked, what do you do to try to get youth involved in civic education? And that's a leading question, Mr. President, because they have members of the Model General Assembly here with them today. So I hope, Mr. President, you'll give them, on behalf of the Senate, the warm welcome.
I thank the Senator. Would our leaders from the YMCA CEOs and board members and Model General Assembly please rise in the gallery if you are able? Wonderful. It is so great to see all of you. Thank you for your tremendous leadership in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The YMCA is such an important part of development of our youth and of the next generation, and you all have been dedicated and committed for many years to making us all better. And so we echo the eloquent and generous words of Senator from Williamsburg, Senator Mason. Welcome to your capital. You're welcome back here anytime. And I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our distinguished guests. Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for purposes of an introduction.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm pleased to have you introduce to the body today a group from Virginia Horse Council that are in the gallery today. Mr. President, this group supports equine activities throughout the state and the equine economy. They also are largely responsible for my family being willing to allow me to continue to have the honor and suffer the adversity of being a member of this body, because they annually sponsor a trail ride for legislators, and many of the members here have participated in that. I'm hoping many more will do that this year. It typically is in May, but this year, the date I'm not sure has been set, but that will be shared probably by the senator from Fairfax City, the chair of agriculture, when they get around to making that announcement. Mr. President, it's a great group that really creates a fun time for legislators as they introduce us to the equine industry. I would ask you to introduce them now to the body.
I thank the senator. Would our friends and leaders from the Virginia Horse Council please rise in the gallery if you are able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today. Thank you for your tremendous leadership in such an important industry for the Commonwealth of Virginia. You have so many supporters of the equine industry right here in this very body, and none more supportive than Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger. So we echo his eloquent and generous words and join in together in welcoming you all here to your capital. And I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leaders from the Virginia Horse Council. And in your honor today, if anybody wants to vote something down, we're going to have them vote nay. Okay? I had to. I mean, come on, right? I mean, come on. It's Thursday. Come on. Senator from Lynchburg, Senator Peake.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
I thank the senator. You have the floor.
And no bad jokes from me today. On behalf of Senator Reeves and myself, and I don't know if they've made it into the gallery yet. There they are. Good. Yes, this is great. We are welcoming members of the Louisa County High School basketball team. These student athletes and staff are here to observe the proceedings of the Senate and see a resolution passed commending them as the Virginia High School League Region 4 basketball champions. The team had a record of 26-5 and was the most successful team in Louisa for more than 20 years. With the champions are Superintendent Doug Straley, Principal Lee Downey, Athletic Director George Stanley, and coaches Robert Shelton, Andre Quarles, Roger Brooks, and Quentin Jackson. And, of course, we have some current members of the team. Mr. President, knowing how you like basketball, we've got winners this time. I would ask that we please give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the senator. Would our leaders from the Louisa County Championship High School basketball team please rise in the gallery if you are able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today in your capital, in the Senate, and thank you for your tremendous leadership in Louisa. It's a great high school, a wonderful program, and I had the honor of visiting with you all a little bit ago, and so well-mannered and such wonderful young leaders that you're grooming. So coach, principal, superintendent, athletic director, our trainers, our coaches, you all are doing an outstanding job, and your champions, I know, both on and off the court. So I would echo the generous and eloquent words of the Senator from Lynchburg, Senator Peake, and I would ask everybody to join me in welcoming the champions from Louisa County High School basketball team. Senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Morning, Senator.
I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
Senator, the floor.
Thank you, sir.
As always.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, and those in the gallery, I have the privilege and honor of introducing you to someone that I've known for a very long time, since the beginnings of my legal career, some 25 years ago in Northern Virginia. Later, we were both able to abscond from the jurisdiction of Fairfax, and we set up a practice in Southside Virginia in Franklin County. Tim Bird is a lawyer that is the second best lawyer in my area behind me. And then, but he's very capable, and we were partners for a very long time. And he's come up here because, of course, he does great work in domestic relations, custody matters, and helps so many families and so many children around the Commonwealth of Virginia. He's now interested, Mr. President, in perhaps an opening in a juvenile and domestic district relations court judgeship. So he's up here today meeting with our fellow members of both the House and the Senate, and it's always great to see a friend from back home. And if you would, Mr. President, extend the warm welcome to Tim Byrd from Moneta, Virginia.
Thank the Senator. Would Tim Byrd please rise in the gallery if you're able? Tim, thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you for your leadership in the law and throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. We are very appreciative. Congratulations on no longer practicing with Senator Stanley. I know that's a great achievement, and we welcome you here to your capital and echo the generous and eloquent words of your friend and our friend Senator Stanley. I would ask everybody to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to Tim Byrd. Senior Senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Afternoon, Senator.
I rise for an introduction.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Madam President, Senator Lucas, and myself, we are honored today to have in our gallery Mr. Levin Turner and his son, Tristan. Now, Levin is a good friend of our family, and Tristan is one of 5 of the Turner kids. And what you really need to know about Levin is he's one of those kind of crazy people that runs into burning buildings and saves people and pets and that kind of stuff. He is a professional firefighter from the city of Portsmouth. I hope you'll give him a very warm welcome in the Senate because, we need more people like him.
Absolutely. Would our friends Levin and Tristan Turner please rise in the gallery if you're able? Levin and Tristan, thank you all so much for joining us here today in your Senate and your Capitol. Levin, thank you for your leadership as a firefighter, which is such a noble profession, and you make our Commonwealth better every single day by your sacrifice and your bravery. And Tristan, I know you're following in your father's footsteps, and we're all proud to see you here today. We echo the generous and eloquent words of the Senior Senator from Chesapeake, who's joined by Senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas. And I would ask everyone to please join me to extend the warmest welcome, no pun intended for firefighters, of the Senate to Levin Turner and Tristan. Thank you all very much. Senior Senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is more of a warning than an announcement, but I noticed when the Louisa basketball team stood up, Senator Peterson came up here and was going, what are they doing on the 20th? Just warning you guys, you might get drafted for the Senate basketball team.
We have a big game on February 20th, so if you guys want to play on our team, we'd welcome you. We keep losing that game, so we're going to try to win it this year. I want to call on the Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for an introduction.
I thank the Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I'd like to welcome back one of our new friends here at the Senate. We have Kate Kiggins in the gallery. Kate's a 5th grader at St. Gregory the Great Catholic School in Virginia Beach. She's here with some of her classmates for the March of Life outside that several of us got to visit with earlier. She enjoys ice skating, Irish dancing, and plays the cello. And so it's great to have her back here a few weeks ago when she was here with her mother on the day she was sworn into our body. So I hope it'll be a pleasure of the Senate to give her a warm welcome.
I thank the Senator. Would our friend Kate Kiggins please rise in the gallery, if you're able? That was so cute. Kate, thank you so much for joining us here today. We are all very excited and happy to see you. And I think nobody is more excited to see you than your wonderful mom, Senator Kiggins. She's so proud of you, as we all are. So thank you for being at the Capitol. Thank you for your advocacy to your classmates and to everyone there. We wish you a great day here at the Capitol. And I would ask everyone to please join me in sending the warmest welcome of the Senate to a member of our family, Kate Kiggins. Senator from Russell, Senator Chafin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for an announcement.
Thanks, Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, as I came out of the building today from the General Assembly building, I was greeted by the best aroma that I have had in the capital of Virginia this year, and that was the aroma of sizzling beef on the grill. And I've got to tell you, Mr. President, I don't think it's a coincidence that there were so many people here today being greeted and the warm welcome of the Senate. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they knew that we were serving, that the Virginia cattlemen and the Virginia dairymen were serving beef and serving milk products today. The Virginia beef and cattle and dairy industry are featured today as proud sponsors of lunches provided to the members of the Virginia General Assembly delegates and senators. These are the second and third largest sectors of the Virginia agriculture industry, and collectively the Virginia Cattlemen's Association and the Virginia State Dairymen's Association represent industries employing more than 50,000 people in occupations ranging from working on the farms that are home to some 1.6 million cattle. I don't see enough cattle when I'm here in Richmond, Mr. President. To the numerous value-added businesses for beef and milk products. Today's lunch features products produced on the Virginia farms and processed by Virginia businesses. Those include steak raised at Glenmary Farm in Rapidan, Virginia, a Century Farm, and processed at Seven Hills Foods in Lynchburg, Virginia, an aphid grant recipient, by the way, of the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Milk today was produced by Virginia's dairy farmers and pasteurized and packaged and distributed from Mayola Milk, located in Newport News, Virginia. Together, the Virginia beef and dairy industries provide more than $14 billion to the state's economy through jobs, support of local businesses, exports, and productive land use. Cattle and dairy producers in Virginia are important contributors to a strong economy, to the food security and a healthy environment, and are appreciative of the service each day that the members of the General Assembly provide to the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Mr. President, I hope that you will give the warmest welcome of the Senate to our friends, the Virginia cattlemen, and also the Virginia dairymen.
Thank the Senator. Would our friends from the Virginia Cattlemen and Dairymen Association in the gallery please rise if you are able? And if you are here. So we'll thank them on television. Echo the generous and eloquent words of Senator from Russell, Senator Chafin. Thanks for all you do. I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leaders from the Virginia beef and dairy industry. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman. Do any other senators wish to be recognized? Is there any other business to come before the Senate in the morning hour? Seeing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Thursday, February 13, 2020. Uncontested calendar, House bill on third reading. House Bill 1187, a bill relating to alcoholic beverage control, distiller licenses, internet orders, and shipments. Reported for the Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services.
Senator from Arlington, Senator Favola.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that this bill be recommitted to the Committee on Rehab and Social Services. We have found some issues we need to work out. Thank you.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1187 be recommitted to the Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is recommitted to the Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services.
Regular calendar, House bills on third reading. House Bill 166, a bill relating to notice by localities, reported from the Committee on Local Government, and there is a floor substitute.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I'd yield to the senior senator from Virginia Beach.
Senior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator DeStaff.
Mr. President, I thank the gentleman. And Mr. President, the floor substitute actually does what I thought this bill had done yesterday, and I'd like to move the floor amendment in nature of a substitute.
The Senator first want to waive the reading?
Oh, yes, I'd like to waive the reading of the floor substitute.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the reading of the floor substitute be waived? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The reading of the floor substitute is waived. Senior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator DeStaff.
Mr. President, I'd like to move the floor substitute.
Senator, it's the floor.
Speaking to that, Mr. President, what this floor substitute does is conforms this to the bill I had carried for the city of Virginia Beach with the newspaper issue that passed out of this body. So now they are exactly the same. There's no difference. And with that, I move we report this fine bill.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the senator adopt the floor substitute? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The floor substitute is adopted. Senior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph.
Mr. President, I move passage of this fine bill.
For the reasons stated on the floor sub?
For reasons previously stated. Thank you.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall House Bill 166 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 27, noes 13.
Ayes 27, noes 13. House Bill 166 passes.
House Bill 505, a bill relating to Board of Zoning Appeals writ of certiorari, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, this is the bill we had up yesterday, and it was explained yesterday, and has explained yesterday. It relates to putting a 21-day requirement on localities to respond from any appeal from a decision of the Board of Zoning Appeals upon the issuance of a writ of cert.
Before we go further, we have a floor amendment we may want to take up first. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I apologize for interrupting the gentleman. He was so loquacious that I'm sorry I missed the balance of his remarks, but I would respectfully ask that we pass House Bill 505 by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 505 will go by for the day.
Memorial resolutions.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move that the memorial resolutions on pages 2 and 3, HJR 183 through Senate Resolution 22, be considered in a block in the usual manner, waiving the reading of the resolutions thereof with the understanding that any senator desiring to remove a resolution from the block will do so after the clerk has read the title of the resolution.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall the memorial resolutions on pages 2 through 3, House Joint Resolution 183 through Senate Resolution 22, be considered in the block in the usual manner, waiving the reading of the resolutions thereof with the understanding that any senator desiring a resolution be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the title of the resolution. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The resolutions are before us in the block. The clerk will read the titles of the memorial resolutions.
House Joint Resolution 183, celebrating the life of Georgia Bellman. House Joint Resolution 190, celebrating the life of Charles S. Miller, Jr. House Joint Resolution 191, celebrating the life of Louis Eugene Burke. House Joint Resolution 195, commemorating the life and legacy of Dr. Robert Russa Moten. Senate Joint Resolution 88, celebrating the life of the Honorable Gerald L. Bliles.
Senator from Spotsylvania, Senator Reeves.
Mr. President, I ask that SJR 88 come out of the block and by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Joint Resolution 88 will come out of the block and go by for the day.
Senate Joint Resolution 96, celebrating the life of John Walter Ainsley. Senate Joint Resolution 97.
Senior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph.
Can Senate Joint Resolution 88 come out of the block and by for the day?
It already did. Did you want another one?
I'm sorry, the one that we just mentioned.
96.
96.
Without objection, Senate Joint Resolution 96 will come out of the block and go by for the day.
Senate Joint Resolution 97, celebrating the life of the Reverend C. Douglas Pillow. Senate Resolution 22.
Mr. President.
Senior Senator from Chesterfield, Senator Chase.
Can Senate Resolution 22 please come out and go by for the day?
Without objection, Senate Resolution 22 will come out of the block and go by for the day. The resolutions will be agreed to in the usual manner. All those in favor of agreeing to the memorial resolutions will please rise. The resolutions are agreed to.
Commending resolutions.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move the commending resolutions on pages 3 through 6, that's HJR 176 through SR 23, that they be considered in a block by voice vote, waiving the reading of any of the resolutions with the understanding that any senator desiring to remove a resolution from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the resolution.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the commending resolutions on pages 3 through 6, House Joint Resolution 176 through Senate Resolution 23, be considered in the block by voice vote, waiving the reading of the resolutions with the understanding that any senator desiring a resolution be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the resolution. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The resolutions are before us in the block. Clerk will read the numbers of the resolutions.
House Joint Resolutions 176, 178, 179, 180, 181, 182, 184, 185, 186, 187, 188, 189, 192, 193, 194, 196, 197, 198. Senate Joint Resolutions 91.
Mr. President.
Senior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Staff.
Can Senate Joint Resolution number 91 come out of the block and by for the day while we're awaiting additional signatures?
Without objection, Senate Joint Resolution 91 will come out of the block and go by for the day.
92, 93, 94, 95, 98, 117, Senate Resolutions 20, 21, 23.
Question is, shall the resolutions be agreed to? All in favor of agreeing to the resolutions will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolutions are agreed to.
Mr. President.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move that the rules be suspended and that Senate Joint Resolution 113 be taken up for immediate consideration.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the rules be suspended and Senate Joint Resolution 113 be taken up for immediate consideration? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The rules are suspended to take up the resolution for immediate consideration. The clerk will please read the title.
Senate Joint Resolution number 113, commending the Virginia Maritime Association.
Mr. President,
Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Joint Resolution 113 be agreed to.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the resolution be agreed to? All in favor of agreeing to the resolution will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is agreed to. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I inquire the clerk. Does that complete the calendar for today?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
I am positive.
Thank the Senator. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman. You okay? No worries. Senator from Hampton, Senator Locke.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise on a point of personal privilege.
Thank the Senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Black History Month was the brainchild of Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who was born in New Canton, Virginia in 1875. The son of former slaves, he graduated from Berea College and earned graduate degrees from the University of Chicago and Harvard University. It is the organization he founded, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, that develops the annual Black History Month theme. The theme for Black History Month 2020 is African Americans and the Vote. I would like to highlight two African American women, both born in Norfolk, who made a difference, not just in voting rights, but in the social and political justice to make this a better society for all. The first is Ella Baker. Ella Baker was born on December 13, 1903, in Norfolk, Virginia. Growing up in North Carolina, she developed a sense of social justice early on, due in part to her grandmother's stories about life under slavery. Baker studied at Shaw University in Raleigh. As a student, she challenged school policies that she thought were unfair. After graduating in 1927 as class valedictorian. She moved to New York City and began joining social activist organizations. In 1930, she joined the Young Negroes Cooperative League, whose purpose was to develop Black economic power through collective planning. She also involved herself in several women's organizations. She was committed to economic justice for all people and once said, "People cannot be free until there is enough work in this land to give everybody a job." Ella Baker began her involvement with the NAACP in 1940. Inspired by the historic bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, Baker co-founded the organization in friendship to raise money to fight against Jim Crow laws in the Deep South. In 1957, Baker moved to Atlanta to help organize Martin Luther King's new organization, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. She also ran a voter registration campaign called the Crusade for Citizenship. Ms. Baker and many of her contemporaries believed that voting was one of the keys to freedom. Ms. Baker once said that the civil rights movement, relative to sit-ins at lunch counters, was bigger than a hamburger. In her booming voice, she said, "We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes." Mrs. Baker died in 1986. The other woman that I would like to highlight is Elaine Jones. Elaine was born in Norfolk, Virginia. Elaine Jones learned early on about the realities of racism and the importance of idealism from her mother, a college-educated school teacher, and her father, a Pullman porter, and a member of the nation's first Black trade union. From the age of 8, she knew she wanted to be a lawyer and to commit her life to the pursuit of equal justice. After graduating with honors in political science from Howard University, Ms. Jones joined the Peace Corps and became one of the first African Americans to serve in Turkey. This began a long series of firsts in her career. Following her 2-year Peace Corps stint, she became the first Black woman to graduate from the University of Virginia School of Law, and subsequently the first African Americans to serve on the Board of Governors of the American Bar Association. Ms. Jones was invited to join one of Wall Street's most prestigious law firms in 1970. She turned it down to pursue the goals she had chosen in her youth, and instead joined the NAACP Legal Defense Fund staff. With the exception of 2 years as Special Assistant to the United States Secretary of Transportation, she remained with the Legal Defense Fund for her entire career. She spent the next 14 years in LDF's Washington office litigating and directing LDF's legislative, judicial, and public policy initiatives. In her early years at LDF, Ms. Jones continued to blaze trails, becoming one of the first African American women to defend death row inmates. Only 2 years out of law school, she was counsel of record in Furman versus Georgia, a landmark U.S. Supreme Court case that abolished the death penalty in 37 states. During this period, she also argued numerous employment discrimination cases, including class actions against some of the nation's largest employers. Ms. Jones holds 13 honorary degrees and the Jefferson Medal of Freedom, the highest honor awarded by the University of Virginia. In 2000, President Bill Clinton presented Jones with the Eleanor Roosevelt Human Rights Award. She retired from LDF in 2004 and continues to lecture. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be recognized? Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Seeing none, the clerk will call any announcements on the desk.
Today, Thursday, February 13th, the Committee on Transportation will meet 15 minutes after adjournment, Senate Room 3 in the Capitol. The Education and Health Subcommittee on Public Education will meet 1/2 hour after adjournment, Senate Subcommittee Room 2, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Hashmi, Howell, Locke, Donovan, and Peake. The Judiciary Subcommittee on Criminal Law will not meet. The Finance and Appropriations Working Group on K through 12 Education will meet at 3 p.m., Senate Subcommittee Room 1, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Saslaw, Howell, Norman, Lucas, Newman, and McClellan. The Rural Caucus will meet at 5 p.m., House Subcommittee Room 300B, 3rd floor, Pocahontas. Tomorrow, Friday, February 14th. The Finance and Appropriations Working Group on Capital Outlay will meet at 8 a.m., Senate Subcommittee Room 1, Fifth floor, Pocahontas, Senators Deeds, Norman, Howell, Saslaw, Hanger, and Locke. The Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services will meet at 8:30 a.m., Senate Room A, Pocahontas. The Education and Health Subcommittee on Health Professions will meet at 8:30 a.m., Senate Subcommittee Room 2, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Barker, Saslaw, Newman, Edwards, Donovan, Lewis, and Suderline. The Senate Committee on Rules will not meet tomorrow. Rules will not meet. The Democratic Caucus will meet 1/2 hour before adjournment. 1/2 hour before session in Senate Room 1 in the Capitol. The Republican Caucus will meet 1/2 hour before session in Senate Room 2 in the Capitol. And tomorrow is Valentine's Day. You have less than 24 hours to shop.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Four-person senator from Western Fairfax, Senator Marsden Rise.
Thank you, Mr. President, for, I guess it's an announcement.
Senator's the floor.
That we had 3 bills come over from the House today, and all 3 of them had to be fixed. Seriously? I'm just saying.
Do any other senators wish to be recognized? Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Seeing none, call the senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 10:30 p.m. tomorrow.
A.M.
Mr. President.
Right.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 10:30 a.m. tomorrow.
I thank the senator. Question is, shall the Senate stand adjourned until 10:30 a.m. tomorrow? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate stands adjourned until 10:30 a.m. tomorrow.